If someone asked you which anime is the best, what shows or movies would you say? You might suggest Demon Slayer, that one's pretty epic with its action-packed fighting scenes. Others may say Attack on Titan. I'm gonna admit I haven't seen much of that because it's a long series, but it also has a good plot and great music. Speaking of long anime series, a lot of people may argue One Piece is the best anime. If you like classic animes, you may say Dragon Ball. Or if you're into more emotional animes, you might say Your Name or Your Lie in April. There are so many animes we could name, and let's not forget to mention the iconic anime giant that is Studio Ghibli, which delivered so many classics. However, do you know what anime should be mentioned in the conversation for the best anime? What's up everyone, my name's Matt and welcome to the channel at Animated Picks. Today we're going to talk about how the best anime series is an action-packed love story filled with comedy and wholesome moments. I've divided the video into multiple chapters, with each chapter building on the last. And together, these sections will show why this anime is the best, if not one of the best. Also, there will be spoilers ahead, so spoiler alert warning. Now, let's get into the best anime. Many animes have an insanely complicated plot that takes a lot of episodes to develop. An example of this could be One Piece, which is still going on. In fact, it has over 1,000 episodes. Spy Family, however, is very different. Created by Tetsuya Endo, Endo establishes the plot in the very first episode, and at its root, the plot is easy to understand. Here's a quick pitch of it. Two countries are in a Cold War standoff, West Ellis and Ostania. The best spy from West Ellis is on a mission called Operation Strix to gain access to a politician in Ostania rumored to instigate war between the countries. However, that politician is very elusive. He is only in public for work or for his children's school events for elite students. Those elite students are known as Imperial Scholars. To complete the mission, the spy must find a child, the child must pass the entrance exam and interview, and the child must become an Imperial Scholar. However, the school only accepts families with a husband, wife, and child, so Spy Family follows the spy's journey in finding a child, making a pretend family, and completing the mission. That sounds simple enough, right? What makes the plot interesting and more intricate, though, are the main characters. Let's dive into them. Understanding the characters, their hidden skills and motivations makes this anime even better. I'm only going to discuss the basic characteristics and personalities behind each person, so if you want to learn more about each character and maybe those I didn't cover in the video, let me know in the comments below. Also, I'm not saying that shows like One Piece or Attack on Titan have bad characters or bad character development. I'm just saying that the characters, appearances, and hidden identities in Spy Family make this anime one of a kind, and it all starts with Lloyd Forger, codenamed Twilight, is the secret spy from WISE, the spy network of West Ellis. He became a spy because he lost his parents and friends in the war, and he didn't want anyone else to have that same experience. Lloyd says in both the manga and anime that he wants to make a world where no child cries, and that's why he became a spy. He is known for his sharp shooting, his ability to fight, and also his ability to do anything like fly planes, disarm bombs, cook, memorize information quickly. Also, the way he thinks is so insane because it's all causality. One thing leads to multiple possibilities, and those possibilities entail even more possibilities. Basically, he's prepared for any situation. For example, he planned 862 possible date ideas with Yor, but when Yor said she didn't want to walk, he still had over 60 dates in mind. He may be skilled and smart, but he thinks too logically and he needs help recognizing his own emotions. Lloyd clearly develops feelings for his family, but because he's so attached to his mission, he says that everything he does is for the mission. For example, when he sneaks into Anya's school to improve her midterm grades out of fears that she failed them, he doesn't change them. He claims that sudden good performance on those tests, considering she barely passed the other test, may make school officials suspicious that she cheated. Lloyd could have easily made her scores better, and higher scores would have helped in Lloyd's mission. But no, Lloyd wanted Anya to learn and grow naturally. Technically, Lloyd could have fixed Anya's midterms to make her an Imperial Scholar, and that would have expedited the progress of Operation Strix. But who knows? Maybe Anya's personal growth is important for the mission. Speaking about Anya, who is she? Anya is an adventurous, curious, cute, and lovable little girl. Unfortunately, she was a test subject during the war who escaped the laboratory. Over the years, she was adopted and sent back to the orphanage multiple times before meeting Lloyd. When she met Lloyd, she knew that she wanted to leave her orphanage because at the end of the day, Anya wants to be in a family. When Lloyd went to the orphanage, he wanted the smartest child, and the manager introduced him to Anya. However, when Lloyd met Anya, he hesitated to adopt her because she looked no older than 5. Yet, Anya told Lloyd that she was 6, which she is not, and proceeded to complete a difficult crossword puzzle in front of him. But, how did she know that Lloyd wanted the child to be at least 6 years old and smart? Oh, wait, I forgot to tell you. She's a telepath. She can read people's minds. The whole time she completed the crossword, she read the answers from Lloyd's mind. Anya may not be the smartest student in her class, and honestly, I think she's way smarter than people put her to be. But one thing people cannot doubt is how genuine she is and how she stands up for herself and for others. For crying out loud, she punched a boy who was bullying her. Her sense of danger may be desensitized because of her favorite cartoon Spy Wars, but she is willing to do whatever she can to care for her loved ones and to keep her new family, the Forgers, together, because that's all she wants, a family. Also, without Anya, Lloyd wouldn't have met your Forger. By day, Yor is a civil servant who works in a city hall, but by night, she is a deadly assassin. She is the most skilled assassin in a group of already elite assassins known as the Garden. As a member of the Garden, Yor eliminates prominent individuals who may give critical information about Ostania to the west, and eliminates pretty much anyone who, in the eyes of Ostania, threatens the safety of their nation. Codenamed Thorn Princess, she's not only a skilled assassin, but she's very strong. So strong, in fact, that she once got hit by a car, and she got up like nothing happened. Not to mention, she is also immune to poisons like when she drank blowfish and felt cured by it. Also, the way Yor moves when she assassinates is insane. She moves like a literal superhero because she clearly is. Yor's parents died when she was young, so she ended up taking care of her younger brother Yuri. And to make ends meet, she took up assassination as a job when she was a teenager. Imagine if your brother or sister came back to home with a lot of blood on their face and they're like, "Oh, don't worry, it's not mine." Like, would you call the cops? I honestly wouldn't, cause it's putting food on the table. Anyways, Yor may not be the smartest person, but she is the most supportive, caring, and compassionate one on the show. She's not just physically strong, but she's also emotionally strong. She may commit homicide every time she cooks. And sure, she can't keep the idea of killing out of her head. On that note, she's gotten a lot better of not always associating things with her assassin job, but she could still use some help. Any Hoosers, at the end of the day, she wants to have a normal life. That's why she tries so hard, like Lloyd and Anya do, to hold the Forger family together. Oops, and I forgot to mention how Anya was the ultimate wing woman for Lloyd. When Lloyd and Anya went to the tailor shop, Yor catches Lloyd looking at her, so naturally she asks if he needs anything. I can't describe it myself, so I'm gonna have to let the video speak. Yor needed a date to a party, and she was going to ask Lloyd. However, she stopped pursuing him because it looked like he was married and had a child. On the other hand, Lloyd wanted Yor to be the wife of his family. Their interests aligned, but they didn't know it yet until Anya did this. While Yor is very skilled, strong, and compassionate, she tends to doubt herself and sometimes sees herself as a bad wife or mother. This issue doesn't get any better because sometimes Lloyd doesn't realize how his lack of emotion or reaction at times may affect her. Sure, Yor loves to drink alcohol, and you don't want to be around her when she's drunk. And sure, it's also worsened because she doesn't want to face the deep feelings she has for the family, but she is someone who will do anything for her family and for her loved ones, both for Yuri and for Lloyd and Anya. However, we're forgetting one more family member. Bond is a loyal and protective dog that Anya rescues from a bunch of bad guys. Yeah, you heard that right. Anya rescued Bond. Bond, like Anya, was a test subject, but in a project called Project Apple. However, like the other forgers, Bond has a hidden talent. He can see into the future. In fact, the first mission he did with Anya was literally saving Lloyd from dying. I'm not kidding. Lloyd would have died if it wasn't for Bond and Anya. Bond foretold the future to Anya that if Lloyd opened the door in the clock tower, he would die because the door was rigged with explosives. So, Anya was able to write a warning for Lloyd and prevented him from, becoming a casualty. While this family may have started out of convenience and as a pretend marriage, over the course of the series, each family member grows to slowly appreciate one another more and more. Each family member has a tragic backstory, but their past are what make them cling onto this family ever so more. Lloyd, Yor, and Anya were all orphans, and Anya and Bond were both test subjects. There are many reasons they all work together to hold the family together, but those reasons may cause problems. Each character is motivated by a different reason to keep the family together. Although everyone wants to be together, their reasons as to why they do so may cause conflict. So, strap in everyone, this is when the video gets extra juicy. Both Lloyd and Yor started this pretend family to protect their jobs. For Lloyd, it's necessary for his mission to have a family, and for Yor, it disguises her job as an assassin. People would be less suspicious of her now that she is not single. Lloyd fights for the West, Yor fights for the East. Do you see where this can be problematic? If Lloyd's mission is to infiltrate the East and Yor's mission is to eliminate perpetrators who threaten the East, then at some point Lloyd and Yor could fight. That's right, at some point they may have to fight each other. However, Lloyd and Yor are also slowly falling in love with one another. I'm not gonna dive into that because that's a whole other video, but trust me, I can say more in another video if you want, but for now, please take my word. Lloyd and Yor are beginning to fall in love with each other, and literally everyone but those two know it. Can you imagine if these two hated each other? Especially after such a tender moment like this, I can't, but that's what makes Spy Family so juicy. And then, the tea gets hotter from here, everyone. One of the main things that can hold Lloyd and Yor together is none other than Anya, because those two, without a doubt, love her. Anya has help from Bond, and if Lloyd and Yor ever fight, Bond and Anya could be what keeps the family together. Now, this might seem simple enough, but when we introduce other side characters, oh my gosh, the tea gets scorching hot. On one end, you have Yuri, Yor's brother, who works for the State Security Service, Austania's private intelligence. He can handle fighting, but he's also very persistent and smart, though his sense of logic tends to fall when it involves his sister Yor. When Yuri asked Yor why she didn't tell him that she got married, she said that she simply forgot to tell him. Then he was like, well, you could have told me that when we called the other day. And then Yor says this. Like, I mean, honestly, any right-minded individual would be suspicious about that answer, but because it's Yuri's sense of logic just flies out the window. One of Yuri's main jobs, on the other hand, is to hunt down the biggest threat to Austania. Who are they hunting down, though? Let's think about it for a bit. If you guessed that Yuri needs to hunt down Twilight, aka Lloyd, aka Yor's husband, aka his brother-in-law, then you are right. Yuri doesn't know that Lloyd Forger is the very man he needs to eliminate, but if he does find that out, would he do anything to Lloyd? If Yor becomes attached to Lloyd, Yuri may hurt Yor by eliminating Lloyd. Besides, he's so obsessed with Yor that hurting her is the last thing he wants to do. And just to touch on that image, that is super weird, how he almost romanticizes about his own sister. I would expect a middle school teen to do that with his Minecraft Roblox girlfriend, but not with a grown man. Ugh. On the other hand, you have Fiona Frost, codenamed Nightfall, who works for Wise with Lloyd. While she is also a skilled spy, skilled, smart, and good at fighting, she has a huge crush on Lloyd. She is so obsessed with him that whenever Lloyd gives even the slightest kind gesture to her, she gets so happy and giggly. To others, she's cold-blooded, but to Lloyd, she's almost like a little kid. Just look at what happens after Lloyd gives her his leftover gifts because she helped him. They weren't even meant for her. I need to stress, they were leftovers. Spy Family has such a unique way of creating characters. I feel like, unlike most other animes or TV shows, these side characters can have major implications on both the main characters and on the entire plot. Just when you think a character has a strength, someone close to them can expose that strength as a weakness, whether intentional or not. For example, Yuri is so close to hunting Lloyd, but because he's blinded by his sister, he doesn't really suspect it. There's a lot of people who could ruin the Forger family dynamic, including every single Forger family member themselves. How does it play out? Well, one, I don't know how it does because the series isn't complete, and two, you're just gonna need to watch the anime yourself because this anime isn't just a love story, it's also filled with action, comedy, and wholesome moments. There are so many genres of anime that it can be hard to keep track of them, so to simplify, we're going to talk about the 5 main categories. Goromomuke are basically cartoon for kids under 12. An example of this would be Pokemon. They're typically lighthearted and have stories with colorful animation. Shonen typically has a male lead and is made for boys ages 12 through 18. It revolves around stuff like adventure, action, sci-fi, and talks about the importance of things like friendship and family. An example of this would be literally the entire Naruto series. Shoujo typically has female lead and is made for young girls between 12 to 18. Typically these stories involve romance and drama, and an example of this could be Fruit Baskets. Seinen is typically made for men over 18 and can be liked by female audiences of that same age too. It takes what shonen does, amplifies it, and covers more mature topics like psychology, gore, extreme violence, and sometimes weird erotic stuff. An example of this would be Berserk. Josei is made for women 18 and older. It takes what shoujo does and amps it up to the max. These animes show the realistic lives of women, including their relationships, their challenges, and more. An example of this would be something like Princess Jellyfish. What if I told you that Spy Family weaves a lot of these genres together? Well, less of Josei and Seinen. Anya's lighthearted and wholesome moments could be reminiscent of Akoto Momuke, the male lead with adventure and action could be like shonen, and even the theme of romance and love is like shoujo.
嫌いですか夜さん僕はずっとそばにいて自分の気持ちに気づいてしまった
Even if you're not into anime, do you like comedy? There are tons of moments where you will laugh, like when Yor literally kicked the life out of Lloyd because he asked her to marry him. Albeit, he probably didn't do it the best way possible, but there's also action, and there's a better love story here than Twilight. You want slice of life? Don't worry, Spy Family got you covered in that too. Spy Family isn't just purely a shonen, Gotomomuke, or a shoujo. It's not just a romance, action, or comedy series. It has all those elements and brings the best of them together. Unlike a lot of animes, Spy Family weaves in elements from other genres. Because of this, many people can watch the series and enjoy it.
Anya, peanuts が好き。人参は嫌い。カリカリベーコン。
Because Spy Family has a good plot, has great characters and character development, and incorporates elements from a variety of TV and movie genres, almost anyone can watch it. Imagine if your mom walked into you watching Chainsaw Man and this scene popped up. That would be pretty awkward, right? Or if you had a friend that wanted to get into anime, you probably wouldn't show them something too intense, right? If you don't believe me about Spy Family being a show for everyone, here are some numbers. At the very time of recording, May 1st, in comparison to every single show online, Spy Family ranks number 80. This means that Spy Family is in the top 100 shows in demand, and remember, the second season, at least the first part, came out and ended around late 2023, and it's still this high up. In fact, if you see the engagement score of 7, it shows its audience is moderately active with the show at this moment, and for a series that only airs new episodes once in a blue moon, that's a pretty good number. If you look closer at this box, you can see that Spy Family peaked in December 2023. That's when the second season was really airing their episodes, and even in spring 2022, when Spy Family first aired, it not only was the most watched anime of that spring, but of that entire year. Now, you might say, well, just because it's popular doesn't mean it's the best. Taylor Swift is popular, but that doesn't mean she's the best. Okay, calm down, I'm just kidding. But if Spy Family is resonating with so many people, and if it was successful enough to have its own movie released in theaters, then the show is doing something right. When so many people worldwide love it, and when objectively and subjectively the show is good, it at least deserves to be in the conversation for the best anime. Whether you've watched 1,000 animes, or if this is your first one, you're guaranteed to enjoy Spy Family. I know that because I had a similar experience. Before, I used to think that anyone who watched anime looked like this. Just spends the whole day typing poggers and Pokemon's Twitch and not really knowing what shampoo, conditioner, body soap, and deodorant are. I used to make fun of my friends who watched anime, yet through the power of irony, now my sisters make fun of me for loving anime. My university friends from one of my cultural clubs suggested that we watch Spy Family's first episode together, and I kid you not, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. And also, my heart was literally melting. When I saw this scene, I was like, Lloyd, you better take care of Anya. For context, Lloyd rescued Anya and tried to return her to an orphanage because he didn't want to risk her getting hurt in the mission.
Anya!
How could you watch that scene and not at the very least say something along the lines of "Aw," or "That's cute," or "Oh my gosh"? That night, I proceeded to watch the next 4 episodes of Spy Family straight until midnight. I love the opening and ending scenes along with the 1960s style and unique animation, but I was so invested in the characters and in the plot that I had to keep watching. Did I have a test the next day? Yes. Did I have homework due the next day that I didn't start, but I probably should have begun earlier? Also, yes. The reason why I shared this story with you guys is because I went from hating anime to loving it in one night, and it was because I watched Spy Family. Whether you've watched 1,000 animes or this is your first one, you're guaranteed to love Spy Family. If I had this experience, so can you. Sure, I enjoy watching other animes, but no other anime tells its story like Spy Family does. In my opinion, Spy Family is a one-of-a-kind, filled with wonderful characters, good music, and a proper amount of wholesome, action, romantic, and comedic moments. And there are not many animes like it. That's why I think it's the best anime ever, or should at least be considered as one of the best. If you want to hear more about other animes, dive deeper into Spy Family, or if you want to debate about the best anime ever, make sure to like the video, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comment section below. What do you think is the best anime? Do you like action, romance, comedy, slice of life? Do you like great animation and a bussin' soundtrack? Again, whether you've watched 1 billion animes or Spy Family is your first, you're guaranteed to enjoy it. But it's not just the anime for you, though. It's the best anime ever, and it'll leave you wanting more. Thank you for making it to the end of the video. I really appreciate it, and until we meet on the drawing pad, stay rad and have yourself a gnarly week. Peace.